when you get clear about what your confusion is, exactly what it is, at the moment you get clear about it, so often, all of a sudden, you don't have the problem anymore. You don't have the question. Now, that's actually a kind of a feminine, kind of connected sort of wisdom that's at work when that's happening. You know, because no three-step solution has been applied. No, here's how to make it all right has happened. Nobody's answered the question. All you've done is got the question really clear, and then somehow, so often, out of that clarity, out of that being clear about what your confusion is, the resolution comes, right? Now that's what the feminine quality knows much more than the masculine. They're much more connected with that. That's why so often when women want to talk to you about their difficulty, they just want you to listen, because what they're doing is getting clear about what their confusion is. And by talking about it, they get clear. And as soon as they get clear, they reconnect with their own wisdom. It's right there as soon as they get clear. If you have a guy that hops in every 2 seconds with the solution, they're literally they're disconnecting that person, whether it's a woman who's talking or a man, they're disconnecting them from their wisdom, where they're trying to connect with their wisdom. Does that make sense? So it's a very important thing, I think, for anybody of any gender to really know and have some experience in. Because, again, in our way of thinking, in our way of our whole education system, is that to not have the answer to something is a problem. You'll flunk the test at school if you don't have the answer. You'll be thought of as stupid. You'll just be thought of as inept or worse, you know. And of course, when you're at school, you have to come up with the right answers. That's another way of gaining wisdom that has its merit, I think, as we all know as well. But there's what we're not taught, what's not part of our inclusion, is a kind of wisdom that simply comes about being really clear about your confusion or your difficulty. It's one of the things that's powerful about when people pray. When people really pray in a way that's useful and powerful, through their act of prayer, through their act of communicating to God, talking to God, whatever their concept of God is, through their act of communicating with God, they're communicating their difficulty is actually reconnecting them with their wisdom. And not just their wisdom, with their heart as well. So, as I said, up until a couple thousand years ago in Western culture, this sort of wisdom was associated with the feminine. You know, often it was sort of in the form of a deity called Sophia. Sophia was sort of the deity of wisdom. But it was a particular kind of wisdom. It's a wisdom that comes out of an intuitive connection with the whole. A deeply intuitive connection with the whole. Right? And that's a very important kind of wisdom. It's important on every level of being, from the deepest spiritual level of being to one's just personal life, societal, cultural. On all levels, it's extraordinarily important to be able to find that wisdom that comes from a connectivity with the whole.